So I brought my little companion up here. Okay, you sit down, okay? Thank you. Today's gospel reading is so famous that when we hear the text, we often don't really listen. You heard me stumble over the words, right? There was a different text I wanted to read. Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the hungry. Blessed, blessed, blessed. Jesus is speaking about a new world order where those who are poor will rule, where things are turned on their head. But it's so far from reality. It's such a utopia, a great idea of the world, just not realistic. Such a dreamer, this Jesus. Great speechmaker, but so unworldly naive. But if we stop and listen closely, maybe the text is not so unrealistic after all. We need to touch on two questions. What does it mean to be blessed? And what is the kingdom of heaven? What does it mean to be blessed? If you look up the Greek word makarioi in the dictionary, you find blessed. It is a fairly common word in Greek, but it's difficult to translate into English. The problem with blessed is that it sounds a little unreal, like a quality that doesn't apply to you or me, but just to some outstanding people. And it also sounds more like a future promise. If you suffer now, and if you're persecuted now, if you're hungry now, then in some distant future, probably not in your lifetime, you will be blessed. Another possible translation for makarioi is greatly honored. And this translation emphasizes the theme of reversal that Jesus sketches in his speech. The meek and the merciful are not honored by the world's standards, but they are honored in God, by God, and by those who live according to God's will. A third meaning of makarioi is happy. Jesus says, happy are the poor in spirit, happy are the merciful, happy are the pure in heart. Happy in our culture, however, also has a problem. It often appears superficial. Sunshine, high spirits, and a plan for the day, no work, that's happiness. But that's not the happiness that Jesus has in mind, or he would not call those who mourn happy. He is describing a deeper happiness. The people who are happy in the text are happy because they live their lives in a way that is oriented toward God's loving kindness, toward a way of living that is life-giving to all creation and all creatures. These people long to follow God's word. They seek the righteousness, the holiness, and the justice of God, and therefore they are happy. Other people may appear happy outwardly, blessed. Those that are rich now, that are powerful, that are successful in the terms of the world. But is that real happiness? What makes you truly, deeply happy? The word happy actually is a good translation here because it helps us to understand that Jesus is talking about something that is about to happen immediately. The kingdom of heaven is already breaking into our world with its worldly broken order. And the tense that Jesus uses here is present tense. Happy are the poor in spirit, are the mourning, are the meek. Happy here and now, in this lifetime, although they and we experience difficulty in many kinds. What does the kingdom of heaven mean? Jesus often talks about this new kingdom that is coming. The word kingdom does not necessarily help us to gain a better picture of what he means. Kingdoms are usually somewhere in Europe, and for us they are more part of our entertainment industry or part of history and fairy tales than our reality here and now. And the kingdom of heaven sounds even further removed from our reality. But instead of kingdom of heaven, we could also say reign of God. Within God's reign, happiness or blessedness does not depend on wealth or health or status. It is not a reward for righteousness or duty. Rather, it is God's sheer gift. In the realm of God, life is not ruled by honor and shame, but by the promise of abundant life that is found in caring relationships with everyone and everything around us. Everyone who supports this abundant life, not only our very own, but anyone's life, works in and towards the reign of God. Happy are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. For all of us here today on All Saints Sunday, who remember, who mourn loved ones who died, how can especially the word happiness fit into our mourning and grieving? Please note that Jesus is not saying that there is no reason to mourn for a loved one. Jesus acknowledges grief as a natural and profound human experience. But amidst our grief, we are also happy because we can see the bigger picture. We see beyond the culture of the world. We see beyond the culture that declares death as the ultimate finality. And when we can grieve, we can do this because of the love we are able to feel, because we care for others, because we miss being in relationship with them. And because of that, we will be comforted. But happiness does not simply mean to just see the world as God sees it. It is an active way of life. It motivates us to love, to speak up for others, to support, care, help, to seek justice and love mercy. The love that I am talking about here is not a pure emotion. To love is an action word. It is something you do and even choose to do instead of acting in a different way. St. Clare of Assisi supposedly said, and if she didn't say it, another wise person did, we become what we love, and who we love shapes what we become. If we love things, we become a thing. If we love nothing, we become nothing. Imitation is not a literal mimicking of Christ. Rather, it means becoming the image of the beloved, an image disclosed through transformation. This means we are to become vessels of God's compassionate love for others. Happiness doesn't mean perfection. Especially through illness and death, we experience our fragility and brokenness. Life doesn't leave us without scars and cracks and wounds. But we can still be vessels of God's compassionate love. Broken vessels, yet happy, blessed, and held in God's love. Amen.